Hello Vista High clay monkeys. Are you ready to get your bowl on? We're going to do this textured stretched bowl using the CircleMatic templates. Okay, so the form finder, you'll find this on Google Classroom. You're all following, you're all making a comment after this video. Positivity please. Okay, so we're going to texture, but before we texture, we're going to smooth out the clay with the rib. Just sliding and gliding. Make sure that you're sliding and smoothing out, because that canvas will create a texture. You want to get rid of that texture, okay? So you got options. You've got options in this class. Roller for texture. First, you're using the eye template, the bowl template. So we're going to draw that out, laying it right on our slab wherever we decide. And I'm working on a drywall board. That's very important. So here's the trace before cut. Yeah. So I'm just cutting this out, following my pencil line, but I'm holding the template down. Take your time, make sure you trace it before you cut it out. We can leave that there. We have our template, okay? So we're going to texture it now, and you have lots of options. You could do stamps and a pattern, and think about how you're going to use this with your social, political, environmental issue. In my case, I've got a wave, ocean-themed issue. Got some texture there with the rolling waves and the little bubbles. If I want to work on my rim, I can cut away some of the clay. But let's go back to some stamps. We've got this for the infinity sign. And wherever you place it, you just have to kind of wiggle it and push it to get, and you can see it's hard to put it back down in the same spot. So I'd recommend push firm to get a good stamp. Okay, so I'm working on the drywall board so it's not going to stick. You can see that. I can lift it up. It's absorbing some of the moisture for me, and that's awesome. But we're going to go ahead and bevel our cut with our beveler. I'm going to bevel it using the bevel cut, and we'll do this side, pushing it up against the clay and drawing it through a mitered edge so that you don't have double wall thickness where you put it together. So what it looks like, and I like to work upside down on these, so when this goes together, you see, now I've got, use your fork, cross hatch. Okay, a little bit of moisture, and now we're going to put it together. You have to push and support it and compress it and get it together. You're trying to do as little damage to your texture as possible. Oh, that's looking really good. It's not perfect. You could go back in and fix it with your texture tools possibly, but I really like it. So this has like that inward cut, so we want to raise that up. Just slowly pinching that. You have to have a soft touch with soft slabs. So we're going to scratch all the way across. Okay, you can still adjust your shape if you feel the need. Want to turn it up a little bit, turn up the volume. Good, but you need a bottom. I just usually just eyeball it, okay? So if I have this curve here, I could just take part of this clay and cut it out. And I want to cut it bigger than what I need. So that's really bad to attach that. You would want to trace it to get the shape you want, but it's really hard to trace it when it's upside down. inside, but maybe you want to texture the outside, maybe just with one, or yeah, maybe just one or two, or I don't know. Let's do 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the bottom. And let's turn it over. We're gonna have to stand this up at some point anyways. So let's just guesstimate where it's going to attach. So we'll scratch that. You can use slip, but your clay is so moist that if you just wet it with your sponge, let's get a better sponge. If you just wet it with your sponge, that clay will actually make slip if you scratch it a few times. Okay, so let's leave that there, sorry, and then take this. It won't stick, but you gotta pick it up. Whoa, don't drop it. Line it up the best that you think you can. Remove your excess clay. So you're going to cut it away with your knife. So now we're going to stretch out the clay, but do try to make sure that your bottom is attached, so you can tap it a little bit if it's strong enough for you to pick up. If it's too flimsy, don't pick it up. So we're going to start just trying to tack that bottom down on the inside, making sure that the bottom is really, the wall is attached to the inside. So I'm just using the back end of the knife, and it's moving around on me, so that tells me that I need to do this. Otherwise, I might not have a bottom. All right, so we're ready to stretch out the inside. We can start with our finger, sliding and gliding, coming up the wall, all the way around, making the bowl shape. And we're going to give that a different texture using these rollers. And I should be doing this on a board because I could stick it to the table, just letting you know that could happen. This bowl is looking pretty good. I'm not going to do a rim, like a rim wrap. I'm going to do a foot ring instead. So let me show you how I do that. Okay, so we've got our bevel cutter. So we're going to cut extreme bevel. Please don't cut rock hard clay with that, because that will break. Same with your wire tool. It's not meant to go through rock hard clay, okay? That's how they get broken. And if you pull the wire on the edge of the wheel, that'll fray the wire, so be careful. Sometimes kids do that, and then the next person could cut themselves with the wire. So be careful in the studio. Don't use your hands to see if things are sharp. Use your eyes. Wet your edges. Whoa, that's a lot of water. That's a little much. You can sponge it off if you get carried away. Tack it together, pushing it out, pushing it in, pull it across. You can even take this and pull one into the other. So your foot goes this way, it doesn't go this way when you attach it. You want it wider as it goes out. And the clay's cracking a little bit over here, so I'm going to smooth it. You can see some of the cracks happening So a little bit of moisture could help that. It's not really going to crack apart. It's just that it's not liking the stretching that I'm asking it to do, or the bending, I should say. So wet it, soften it, give it a little bit of softer edge. You can work on this part later with a pencil to make the texture flow from one to the other. I'm not going to demonstrate that, but that was demonstrated in the CircleMatic template. I'm just working my rim like this, sideways, like I taught you on the first day of class, laying out the rim, stretching it out, bowling it out, play with it. If you want to wet it, this is how you put water on a rim. You just bend the rib, slide and glide. Bend it out, stretch it out, flare it out, pinch it out. Let's scratch it here. Thrice. Okay, now let's hope this fits. Perfect. Okay, so you can line it up. It's up to you how you want it to fit on there. You can stretch it a little bit. It's clay, it moves. So here's the bowl after a bisque fire, and it's been stained with red iron oxide and then sponged off and ready to glaze. The inside with the clear glaze first, and then the exterior would get a dip in clear glaze. You can do a color glaze on the inside, clear on the outside. Thanks, have fun.